Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of our FDP on deep learning and computer vision, the field of clinical research. Over the past 2 days, we have explored deep learning frameworks, object recognition, and AI driven clinical applications, gaining valuable insights from our expert speakers. Today's session, evaluating AI models for clinical data and enhancing surgical precision with deep learning by Dr. Suganya Ramamurthy Ma'am, Senior Associate Professor at VIT Chennai. With over 18 years of experience in academics and research, she has made significant contributions to medical image processing, AI-based diagnostics, and deep learning applications in healthcare. She has an impressive research portfolio, including over 25 Scopus indexed publications, 2 authored books, namely Big Data in Medical Image Processing of Taylor and Francis in 2017, and Classification of US liver images using machine learning techniques at Lambert Academic Publishing at 2014, as well as multiple patents in medical AI innovations. Her research focuses on automated diagnosis, AI-powered medical image segmentation, and privacy-aware AI models for clinical datasets. In this session, she will first delve into the challenges and techniques involved in evaluating AI models for clinical data analysis, and then she will seamlessly transition into deep learning's role in pre-operative planning, discussing how AI is enhancing surgical precision. This extended session will provide a comprehensive understanding of how deep learning is revolutionizing both diagnostics and surgical planning in modern healthcare. Over to you, ma'am. Suganya, ma'am, can you hear me? Participants, I ask you to kindly wait for another 5 minutes. Ma'am will be joining us soon, so please wait for her.
Sir, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, okay, fine. Shall I share my screen?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, ma'am, it is possible.
Yeah, yeah, very good evening, one and all present here. First, I would like to thank Dr. T. Chandrakumar sir and Partha sir for making me to be a resource person for this Atal FTP. Thank you so much, sir. I'm very happy to share my knowledge and research work, what I'm currently working on medical image processing here. So I have some three presentations to share with you. The first one is what are all the metrics we supposed to make use of clinical data analysis. Then second presentation is about transformer. It's a very, very important deep learning model. So how the transformer is working. Then I will take you to vision transformer, the key components present in the transformer. Then I will take you some of the case studies where currently we are working on the industry and medical hospitals. So let me start here. So wherever you find query, make me to start my presentation and I will clarify your query then and there. Okay. So I will start here. So metrics to evaluate AI models for reliable clinical data analysis. Yes. So this topic will make you to think what are the various metrics we supposed to make use for the clinical data analysis. We have seen so many data set nowadays from Kaggle, but while working in the real industries like hospitals, we can see the plenty of things matters like collecting the data set and the data pre-processing. We supposed to work with the real-time data is entirely different from the data what we are working in the working with the Kaggle data set. So here let me start about some introduction about AI models in healthcare, then evaluating AI models for clinical data analysis, then what are the challenges present while dealing with this healthcare analytics, then some of the methodologies, and we will discuss end up with the case studies demonstrating that AI applications. As we all know about this AI, the importance of AI, AI is doing magic in nowadays. We can see that science and engineering that making the missions to play plenty of magic nowadays. I hope you all have experienced the ChatGPT and Gemini, now Deep Seek, all brings a lot of magic. So whatever we think we can do with the help of those ChatGPT, recent ChatGPT as well as DeepSeek, everywhere. Okay, so now this AI that simply mimic the human brain. So it's nothing but programming. We just make the computer to train and make them to act as a human. But still now, doctors are not going to replace by this AI. But nowadays, doctors are also feeling scared about this recent AI because many instruments in their surgery currently they are working with the in their surgery they have started replacing or started working along with the AI models in such a way that AI brings the more precision on finding the location of particular issues in brain or in heart or like anywhere. So AI is started working with the real-time human doctors in the current scenario. So we have different types of AI. One is narrow AI, another one is general AI. The narrow AI is specifically work for a specific task, like if we take, if you're going to find out the cancer analysis or cancer prediction, or if you're going to find out the images like pathology images to find whether it is a disease one or not. So narrow AI is applicable only for the specific task to perform the specific task as well as this performs within the limited domain. For example, we have a plenty of data set in medical and clinical aspects. We can see that health record, electronic health records like numerical data sets are there. If we take images, unstructured data set, you can see the pathological images, plenty of radiological images, various modalities we can say like CT scan, MRI, ultrasound, X-ray, even we can say the waveform, high frequency data set like blood pressure, ECG, EEG. So this narrow AI exclusively meant to perform this specific task. Suppose if any deep learning model that we have applied for AI,
Uh, your voice is not audible. Ma'am is facing some networking issues. I kindly ask all of you to patiently wait.
I think. Am I audible now? Anyone? Could you tell me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So we have seen the importance behind narrow AI and general AI. There is
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but your voice is very low.
now it is okay.
No, it's still low, ma'am. And is it possible for you to present it in slideshow mode?
Yeah, I have made the slideshow, but for me, it's coming like a slideshow mode only.
Actually, the screen is not changing to.
Uh, is it fine now?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is where we can differentiate the narrow AI as well as the general AI. So general AI is meant to work for anything, any type of problem. Whereas this narrow for medical image processing or medical applications, we can make use of this narrow AI. So here, this slide I have taken from Google, where it shows the large language models, a general purpose AI. So we have seen plenty of large language models are doing a lot of things here. But while dealing the clinical medical chat GPT or clinical data set, we carefully include the doctor's advice also in large language models. So even though we train plenty of data set that is available for clinical purpose, we supposed to include the doctor's details also here while dealing that medical chat GPT. So we will see the importance behind the transformer in the next slide. So here you can see the lot of medical data sets available. So AI augmented data collections. If we take any specific diseases, we supposed to take the primary condition of the disease. We should take the histology, morphology, what stage it belongs to, what grades it belongs to, and molecular biopsies. So like that, for particular disease, we should try to come up with the various informations when we are dealing with the clinical data set. So here the data set that shows the patient data set, it defines some anthropometric data. That means the patient age, patient sex, the demography of the patient, then any comorbidities included or what type of medications he or she has taken. So we supposed to include all the type of data set while dealing this particular medical problems. So apart from this, we have some electronic health record data set and pathology reports, some radiological reports. All this together, we supposed to see this medical data set as the big data set. So carefully, we have to collect the data set and we have to apply the pre-processing techniques for each and every modes of modalities that we are collecting for our processing. So what is the importance of evaluating these AI models in clinical settings? So errors in clinical AI models can lead to misdiagnosis. So that is why we are not replacing a human medical practitioner by AI, by AI. So here, even a small error that misguide the doctors during the surgery. So carefully, we have to train our AI model in such a way that carefully deals with the clinical surgeries. Then models must meet the strict regulatory standards. So whenever we are working with the primary research, which involves the human data set, we carefully check the ethical consideration also. We have to check the data set from FDA and EMA medicine agency for safety and efficacy. So that is why it's very difficult to get the medical data set for working or for doing any process. So clinicians are more likely to adapt the AI tools if they are proven reliable and interpretable. So now recently we got one hospital was a consultancy project where they requested us to identify the path planning before the skull opening, before doing any brain surgery. They need some exact path planning. So that is why we supposed to develop the AI models. So in the case studies, I will discuss you in details about that case study. Okay. So here AI is transforming the clinical data analysis and diagnostics, like for analyzing the clinical data, predicting the patient outcomes, and assisting in medical decision making. As well as the carefully, we have to ensure the model without creating even a small subtle features or subtle errors. So here we will see about we have various AI models, metrics for classification, for segmentation, and for detection like that. Then we will see some of the methodologies how to use and the case studies, some of the real-time case studies we will see. So here challenges involved, as I told you, while dealing the clinical data set, the quality of data is very, very important. So here as the modalities that we have seen that X-ray, CT, MRI, the data acquisition, while capturing these modalities of images, the data acquisition setup is plays a major role. If that acquisition remains different parameters means definitely our quality of data seems to be incomplete, as well as we will get some noisy data. So data quality itself plays a major role. This will be regulated by means of data acquisition devices during capturing those modalities of images. Then models trained on one data set may not perform well on the data from different populations or institutions. So we have to narrow down the problem in such a way we are going to develop the model that would be applicable only for those data set, only for those population size, only for those age groups, or only those constraints. So we have to specify that constraints clearly before going to handle the data. Then clinicians need to understand how the model arrived at its predictions, because mostly nowadays we are taking the data set from Kaggle. We are very much expertise and master in applying various machine learning and deep learning algorithms, and we are getting the accuracy like 90, 95, 98 percentage. But while interpreting this results all among with clinicians, the entire perception is different. So here we should include their feedback, like every each and every step we should get their feedback, interpretation of your results along with the doctors, very, very important. Then ethical concern, obviously it is very important. Whenever we supposed to make use of any clinical or human data, we supposed to get the ethical concerns. So bias in the training data can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes. So these are all the challenges while dealing the clinical data. So now we will see the key metrics for evaluating the AI models. There are various metrics out there. So we should aware about which metrics we supposed to use for which type of task are we going to do work with the deep learning models. So for a classification task, like whether are we going to diagnose the disease or risk prediction, we supposed to use this accuracy, sensitivity, and specificity. Here, evaluating AI models in medical data sets requires specialized metrics that access not only the accuracy but also the clinical relevance. Okay, so here for classification, we can make use of this accuracy. I hope you already knew about this. Measures the overall correctness but may not be reliable in imbalanced data set. So handling this medical data set carefully, we have to check whether the data set seems to be balanced one or imbalanced one. Because while collecting the data set, if you are going to do some disease classification, some 4 different categories of diseases are there. In some categories, we will have only minimal amount of data set. In some categories, we will have more amount of data set. So whenever we are going to do some classification approaches, deep learning models for classification approach, carefully we have to ensure whether the data is seems to be balanced in all the categories. If so, then obviously our accuracy will also, you will get some very good results. Even though by deep learning algorithms, we are going to train the huge voluminous of data, carefully we have to ensure whether the data set is seems to be balanced or imbalanced. Then sensitivity, there is a recall or true positive rate. It measures the model's ability to correctly identify the patients with the condition. Basically, this high recall is a crucial for minimizing the mixed diagnosis. So carefully, we have to check that precision as well as that sensitivity as well as the specificity. Here, the specificity is nothing but it measures how well the model identifies the healthy individuals. So this high specificity is important to reduce the false alarm because we apply all the model and we will get very good results. But interpretation is very, very important in clinical data set. Then precision, it measures the proportion of correctly identified positive cases out of all predicted positive cases. So here again, the positive and negative, it depends upon very slight changes. So while dealing this precision in applying our real-time data set, carefully we have to define the positive as well as the negative one. Sometimes the negative may also comes under the positive. Sometimes the positive may also comes under the negative. So there may be a chance of getting this. So in order to avoid those things, we can go for F1 score also. That is the harmonic mean of precision and recall, balancing both the false positive as well as the false negative. Then it is a very good to find this ROC curve, receiver operating characteristics. So this evaluate how well the model distinguishes between the positive number of cases and negative cases at different threshold levels. Then we can also find out the precision recall curve, more informative for imbalanced data set. So these are all the basic classification metrics. Suppose if you're going to do for cancer detection with the various modalities like X-ray, MRI, CT, ultrasound, then pneumonia classification from chest to X-ray images after the COVID or pandemic or thing, and diabetic or retinography detection. For this type of classification, we can try to apply the above said metrics. Then breast cancer diagnosis. So like this, for the type of classification problem, we can apply this metrics. Then segmentation metrics, the medical image analysis, where we can see again the various modalities we have taken, MRI, CT, X-ray, and ultrasound. We are going to perform the segmentation metrics. Segmentation means we can make use of the following metrics to diagnose the completeness of the segmentation part. So here we have dissimilarity coefficient that measures the spatial overlap between the predicted and the ground truth segmentation. And we have intersection over union, that is called Jaccard index, that measures the ratio of overlap to total area of prediction and ground truth. So again, we have two more metrics for segmentation purpose. That is Hausdorff distance. This measures the maximum distance between the predicted and actual segmentation boundaries, indicating how well the model preserves the fine details. Then surface dye score, it evaluates the boundary agreement for medical imaging application, requiring the precise contour detection. So for segmentation problem, we can make use of this metrics.
Recording in progress.
So we can make use of this above said metrics for segmentation purpose. Then we have variety of application under segmentation. So we can see some tumor segmentation or poly segmentation and organ boundary identification. For all those things, we can apply this above said metrics. Here, the brain tumor segmentation, suppose a dye score is greater than 0.90, then typically we can consider as a good segmentation result for clinical applications. So for segmentation, we can make use of those metrics. Then again, for problems like lesion detection or anomaly localization, or for particular object we want to detect in medical image processing, means we can make use of this metrics like average precision, mean average precision, and false positive rate, false negative rate, as well as localization error. So this localization error will measure how precisely the bounding box covers the target issue. So with the help of this various metrics, we can easily detect the corresponding issues in the medical images. So the various applications, we can say lung nodal detection in CT scan, then skin lesion detection in dermatology images, and endoscopy images also we can do the floppy detection. So in colonoscopy floppy detection, the high precision, there is a low false positive, ensures that only true floppies are detected, avoiding the unnecessary biopsies. So these metrics are meant for the object detection. Then we have some other metrics for temporal data, like the regression metrics, that is particularly for survival analysis and disease progression prediction. So these are like mean absolute error. It measures the average absolute difference between the predicted and the actual values. And mean square error, it penalizes the large prediction errors more than MAE. This concordance index measures the ranking agreement between the predicted and actual survival times in survival analysis. So the thing is, when after deciding the problem statement, we have to collect the data set, whether the data set is numerical or text or images. Carefully, we have to choose the algorithm, and based upon that, we have to classify the problem, whether it comes under prediction or classification or localization. Then we have to identify the suitable metrics to evaluate those results. So now we have that fairness and ethical AI metrics. One is demographic parity. It ensures the different patient groups receive equitable predictions. Suppose if you are applying some deep learning models for identifying the or classification of skin for Indian skin images, the thing is entirely different for like foreign skin data sets. So the demographic parity again plays a major role in selecting the deep learning models, as well as the equal opportunity difference. It evaluates if all the patient groups have equal true positive rates. So while considering some ethical AI metrics, we carefully think about this disparate impact and demographic parity as well as equal opportunity differences. So we have discussed about the various metrics that you applicable for classification, segmentation, and object localization. And again, we need to do some careful pre-processing techniques before going to apply for any deep learning models. So data pre-processing, obviously, we will check any missing values are there. Then we have to perform normalization and future selections are there. So nowadays, all our deep learning algorithms carefully taking care of this data pre-processing. And another thing is data quality and integrity. So labeling the errors as well as the noise, if there is any noise present in the image because of the acquisition setup, carefully we have to remove those noise. Then we have to follow the standardization across the hospital, which means the acquisition, data acquisition device, we have some parameters while capturing those images. So while capturing those images, we have to follow this set of basic parameters or standards across all the hospitals. So we have to ensure whether the standardization is there in the captured images or modalities given there. So thereby we can ensure the data quality as well as the integrity. Then bias and ethical consideration. There is addressing the demographic bias and ensuring the fairness level. So these are all the things we have to consider while dealing with the clinical data set. Then methodologies for evaluation, we have training, validation, test split, ensure that model is evaluated on unseen data, because most of the time we supposed to classify our data set for training and testing like 70-30 or 80-20. Apart from that, we have one more thing called validation set split, where we have to check the unseen data set also. We have to evaluate the unseen data set with the help of the training and testing also. We need to perform the cross validation. So this will reduce the overfitting and provides more reliable performance estimation. Then another methodology for evaluation is external validation. So testing the model on data from the different institution or different population. So particularly for this external validation, we can get separate different data set from the hospital, and we can also do the validation part. Then explainability technique. So nowadays, this explainable AI, XAI, plays a major role in interpretation of the model, deep learning model. So using tools like Sharp and Lime, we can bring very good interpretation for our data set. Then adversarial testing, this one is evaluating the model robustness to adversarial attack or edge cases. Because nowadays we are making use of, we are collecting the data set from medical IoT devices, and carefully we have to ensure whether that sensor data set, what we have collected is ready for evaluation, or do we need to do any pre-processing over that data set. So this cross validation, basically we will do the k-fold cross validation, and some stratified sampling is very good for handling this cross validation. Then OOD is nothing but out of distribution detection, where we can perform this adversarial testing. And handling uncertainty in clinical AI, we can make use of some Bayesian neural network and Monte Carlo dropout techniques to handle some unseen or uncertainty thing in the clinical data. So now we will see how this Gen AI in healthcare works. So generative AI is used for customized treatment plans, then synthetic medical images and patient scenario modeling for training. Here we can raise the creativity as well as the data, enhancing the data-driven creativity. So here Gen model is basically you are having two things. The architecture involves the two things. One is variational autoencoder, another one is GAN, generative adversarial network. This two-stage process undergo learning and creation phases for improved performance. Actually, in a digital twin, the role behind the digital twin is it try to create more patients' data and try to work on those data set. But now here, by means of various this AI and deep learning models, we can try to learn and create the various phases involved in the clinical thing. So the learning phase, AI analyzes the large data sets, identifying the complex pattern as well as its relationship. Whereas the content generation phase, it generates the new content based upon the learned data pattern, what we supposed to look about the neural network. And iterative refinement, though the continuous interaction between the generation and evaluation, the model enhances the authenticity over the time. So carefully, we have to apply this generative AI model for the healthcare. So plenty of applications are there for Gen AI. So here we can see digital health, diagnosis of diseases, clinical efficiency, patient experience, and operational efficiency. Apart from that, nowadays we can see that explainable AI plays a major role, as I told you earlier, that gives very good interpretation for medical practitioner as well as the doctors. So it makes the doctors to take the right decision at the right time. So this is all about the metrics and what all the current technologies used in AI field for the clinical or healthcare data set. So and now it's open for discussion and question. If you have any query regarding this particular slide, you can ask me. The next we will move on to transformer. Yes, I hope you all, many of you have already experienced in working with this medical data set. So if you have any queries, you feel free to discuss here. If you don't have any query, I will move on to next presentation about transformer. What's up? You're in mute. Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, some of us have asked their queries in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. I couldn't see that one. 1 second.
Ma'am, I'll just read it to you. Is that fine?
Yes, please. Yes.
Are there separate metrics for evaluating AI models or ML metrics used for this purpose?
See, we have ML metrics. Along with that, we should always add the doctor's interpretation also. Because patient to patient, the problem differs. Patient to patient, the results also differs. So interpretation only by means of this ML metrics alone is not sufficient. Yes.
They are asking for any examples to understand the false positives and true negatives.
Yeah. For example, if we take the liver diseases, hepatoma is a case like a category 2, and hemangioma belongs to category 3. So hepatoma and hemangioma, how can they differ? Means only based upon some minute test. Otherwise, both looks very similar. Both hepatoma and hemangioma both looks very similar in X-ray images or ultrasound images. But the thing is, the subtle feature which is there in the hepatoma, they differentiate hemangioma by means of one additional test, one additional blood test. So by mere imaging alone, we cannot come up the complete decision. We cannot take any decision whether that patient belongs to stage 3 or stage 4. So we need some additional support also. Even though if you take the blood test for that particular patient, we cannot try and we cannot say for this blood test result for this hepatoma state, we supposed to consider as a hemangioma. So we need some additional thing also to confirm whether the patient belongs to category 3 or category 4. Yes.
Ma'am, and one has asked, is there any official channel to acquire data from hospital management?
Yes, actually, we have some UCI repositories to collect the medical data set. But recently, I attended one workshop where some US medical data sets are available in one particular web link. But there again, we need to register and we have to send our bona fide, like we are working as a professional in academic institution, or we are as a student. We supposed to register and get the data set. If you have happen to get access ADNI, that is ADNI is a link where you can get Alzheimer diseases data set, complete data set you can take. But the only thing is they will ask some basic preliminary questions. You have to answer those questions correctly. Then based upon that, they will provide that Alzheimer disease with various modalities, disease data sets are available. Otherwise, it is very difficult to collect the real-time data set.
Ma'am, is this in USA or in India? Because they are asking for it in India.
US. I'm telling about. I'm speaking about US. See, the only possible way to collect the Indian data set is you kindly go and sit with the doctor, just to do NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Then they will supply the data set to you. That too very minimal amount of data set. We support to augment the data set, and we have to train our model and get the results. After seeing that interpretation, people are coming forward to provide the huge data set. This is the experience what I had recently. We worked for the very less amount of data set, but after this data set interpretation results, one hospital, the global hospital here at Chennai, they came forward and provided the huge amount of data set after doing that NDA and all, MOU, NDA, everything.
Ma'am, and what are the metrics used for enhancement? Also, is it good to have better sensitivity or specificity?
See, again, the thing is, it depends upon the applications what you're doing. If it is a classification, you need to bother about that sensitivity as well as the precision point, that the true positive, as well as the confusion matrix is also another important thing where you have to check with all the four possibility of parameters.
Ma'am, and in binary classification, if one class has less images compared to other classes, can we apply data augmentation only to that class?
Yes, you can do. You can do. The thing is, you have to balance your data set, then you can start applying your model. That would be great.
And ma'am, they're asking for the US data set's name.
Which one?
That US data set you specified.
Yeah, UCI repository is there. UCI, then ADNI dataset is there. Then I recently come across DADD. Just I will share it with you shortly. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And ma'am, which filters can be suggested for noise removal and pre-processing for ECG related data for arrhythmias diagnosis? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I couldn't understand your question.
Which filters can be suggested for noise removal in pre-processing for ECG related data for arrhythmias diagnosis?
Yeah. You can apply the Kalman filter. Kalman filter is there. Is a very good for particularly for this data set. Is Sami audible?
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Any other questions, or shall I share the next?
No, ma'am, we are not getting any more questions. If there's any more questions, I'll just let you.
Okay, fine, fine. Just I'm sharing the transformer.
Okay, ma'am.
Is this visible? I have changed to screen share mode.
Ma'am,
Yeah, one second. I'm sharing the screen.
ma'am, we have questions.
Yeah, please.
One is asked, is it better to go for Gen AI for data augmentation or performing geometric transformations?
Gen AI for data.
Data augmentation.
Okay.
Is it good to go with Gen AI for data augmentation or performing geometric transformations?
See what you are doing in Gen AI. What you are doing in Gen AI augmentation.
It's not specified.
Yeah, again in Gen AI augmentation, it will take care of that those geometric transformations.
And that is another question. For thermal image segmentation, what are the metrics we can use?
Segmentation. See, again, it depends upon, it is not a matter of thermal or X-ray or whatever it may be. So segmentation means obviously you can make use of those HD metrics, DSC, like dye similarity metrics, those things you can take. It will work. Jacquard metrics, all those things will work. See, thermal images is something through the thermal camera, you are going to take that, what to say, a more sensitive part, sensitive portion in the images, right? So for that, you can also create that heat map also that will give the corresponding thing where it gets affected.
Ma'am, they are asking for any other data sets rather than MIT and BIH.
Yeah, one second, I will.
Okay.
So apart from Kaggle, do you have any other experience of handling this medical data set? Anyone apart from Kaggle images? Just I'm searching that one. One second, I will check.
No one has replied for that.
No reply. Okay.
Yeah.
One second, I will share the data set to you. Yeah. You please make a note. Open neuro.org. Open neuro. I will share it in the chat window. So one is open.org, then PPMI, then
Someone has replied that TCIA and FIXA for brain tumor, OASIS and BRATS data.
is it Indian data set? What you ask?
I guess they are replying for it, the question. And then also IEEE data port they have mentioned.
Okay, so how many data sets are available there? Is it your synthetic data, or you can make use of those real-time data?
I'm waiting for the replacement.
Okay. Here I'm sharing some few things. OpenNeuro.org,
Yeah.
PPMI, OpenMRI. Uh, Then for epilepsy data set, we have one more site. This is ADNI is meant for Alzheimer disease data set, where again we need to have that NDA. After that, they will provide the data set. Also, we need to acknowledge while writing the paper publications, while doing publication, we have to acknowledge that ADNI or whatever it may be. Then we have to share our code also with them at the end. So these are all the basic constraints they're supposed to have with us in the NDA form. After that, only we can make use of those data set.
Can we go with the next questions?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, for choroidal region, what kind of segmentation can be used?
For which region?
Choroidal region.
Choroidal region. I couldn't understand the question. We
Ma'am,
have
can I send this
for,
question to you?
yeah, in the chat window you can share it to me.
Yeah, I'll send to you.
See, the segmentation we have we can go with the 3D segmentation approach. Okay. Otherwise, for OCT images, it is better we can try deep learning along with the 3D. So 3D segmentation, what happens means it will clearly ensure the affected region in the choroidal part. Apart from that, you can also make use of that explainable AI also. Because in my next slide, I will explain you regarding this retina, what to say, diabetic retina classification by using this 3D also. So we can make use of some 3D segmentation. So actually, someone has written, I'm planning to collect colonoscopies images from 3 hospitals. What should be taken care? How can we get? Okay, see, you cannot make them as a public. The first and foremost thing is the data set that you are collecting from hospitals. Only after giving NDA non-disclosure agreement, we can collect those data set. We can use those data set. And again, if you're going to make them public, we have lot of things, lot of restrictions to use those data set and to make them as a public. Even though for what to say, for simple data set, what we are using in Kaggle is not a big deal. But if you're going to collect some real-time data set, it is a very big thing. It is not generally, we cannot make them to make use of public to make the other user to use the data set. So there is a thing. So we can use after NDA and MOU, and we can add their name in the publication, and we can share the codes, all those things in their repository. We cannot make the medical data set public anyway. Yes, any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is EEG data set helpful to detect neurological problems like schizophrenia, or we need fMRI data sets? And also, where should we collect the data set? Is it better to go for GenAI to detect the neurological disorders?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, recently I told you, no, we got one collaboration with the hospital where it fully belonged to neurological disorder. So we identified that epilepsy, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, based upon their video images and video frames as well as the images. Here, the thing is, we supposed to make use of the Gen AI also, okay, but we have to what to say, interpret those data set very carefully, because that in epilepsy we cannot diagnose which part, see, in the brain there are different portions are there in the brain. Suppose if the patient is getting seizure from the hand, means his right brain is getting affected. If we get his facial expression differs, means his right brain, that what to say, that medulla, nearby medulla oblongata, there he finds some issues. So like that, for each and every portion involved in the body, the brain, there is some region associated with that particular thing. So the thing is, before going to analyze in depth by means of sending some electrodes into the brain and for observation, the doctors are still struggling how to send and where to send those electrodes in the brain, because only after sending those electrodes, he is supposed to be in observation for next 2 days. Okay, so those electrodes, usually the tragedy, we supposed to call that as a tragedies. We supposed to insert those electrodes into the brain. So carefully, we have to identify the portion where we are going to insert those electrodes in order to avoid blood vessel damages or bleeding. And sometimes while sending those electrodes, we cannot send like what to say, directly in the top of the head. Okay, we can send only in the a nearby ear or nearby left side or right side or back side. We cannot directly insert the electrodes on the top of the head. So like that, we have so many constraints out there. So now the real problem, what they requested us, means with the help of 3D deep learning techniques as well as some XAI, they ask us to find out the right path. If you're going to start inserting that electrode, your XAI should explain why you are inserting this path, why you should not take the another path, because it's very crucial to handle the brain. Before going to insert the electrode, carefully we have to identify the location where we are going to insert. As I told you, we cannot exactly predict the location where we are going to where this epilepsy is get affected. So carefully identify those paths with the help of XAI. That XAI clearly suggests the doctors then and there why we are sending this path rather than choosing some other path, and how to reach the path, whether it's a closer one or we need to send our electrodes more deeply. So like this, each and everything will be taken care nicely by our 3D segmentation algorithm as well as some XAI AI algorithms. So it's like how to say, while dealing Kaggle dataset and real-time handling dataset is entirely different experience. In Kaggle dataset, we couldn't refer any doctors to check the correctness of the dataset or to interrupt our results with them. Whereas in dealing the real-time dataset, we went and see the hospital, that surgery room, and we met 3 epilepsy patients, their conversations, their disturbances, their MRI images, 360-degree MRI images, and 2 days that observation video. All those things we have seen, and we collected the data, and we are going to start training our model. So we have to feed lot of informations to our deep learning model in order to predict the right path. So there is where I think it will take some 2 years project. Hopefully, the thing we have started right now, and we got all this type of data set. So here, as you said, EEGs also matters, ECGs also matters. Then we need that MRI scan images, and sometimes after sending the electrodes in the brain, we need to observe that pattern, that video images also. So after finding all those data set, we need to develop a algorithm, deep learning algorithm, in such a way that would be helpful for the doctors to identify the right path rather choosing the wrong path and placing the electrodes. In India, only 5 doctors are there to do this surgery efficiently. So one among the doctor is our, you never believe that, one of our alumni, who is the first batch student in TCE. His name is Vijay Varadan. He went to US, and there he did his studies in MBBS and MD neurosurgeon. Now currently he is doing neurosurgery. So you just Google it, Vijay Varadan. So a lot of surgery videos are also there. He just come up with one nanowear jacket that predicts the heartbeat of the patient, that controls the cardiac arrest. Also nowadays many elders are living in like nana nanis. So this jacket helps them to identify the patterns of some anomalies and detect some alarming signals to their neighbors and caretakers. So you just Google and check Vijay K. Varadan is our one of our alumni. I'm happy to say about him. So his paper on neurosurgery is also very much helpful for us to start this work. Yes, someone has shared diabetic foot ulcer. Which type of data set is better? So here, diabetic foot ulcer, you can take thermal images of foot. So that would be better to predict the correct diseases, because if the patient is diabetic, their foot is clearly differentiated from the normal thing. Their joints, their toes, it seems to be like closely joined together, and their legs on their foot, it seems to be, you can see that red circle. You can clearly view that in the thermal data set. That would be good for diabetic foot ulcer. For segmenting honeycombing pattern from lung CT scan. So, Varsha, you can make use of that 3D segmentation, because nowadays the 3D segmentation is more commonly used for many type of medical image processing. You can go through that. You can check with that.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, we have another question also. Can you suggest best filters for gastrointestinal cancer classification?
Can you suggest?
Best filters for gastrointestinal cancer classification.
See, for gastrointestinal means, are you going to take images are from or video frames? Because we have that laparoscopic, and another one is endoscopy images are there. Okay, so if you are going to make use of the video frames for that gastrointestinal thing means, it is better to apply that Rajan filter. Rajan filter is there exclusively. You can apply for this type of what to say, intentional thing like laparoscopic or endoscopic images.
Ma'am, also, which classifier will be best for classification for enhancing the accuracy, ML or DL classifiers?
See, DL, again, AI, ML, DL, all are under one single roof, right? So deep learning means if you're having huge data set and a very good supporting things, supporting data means we can make use of deep learning algorithm. For medical thing, we don't find a huge amount of data set. So people will find a lot of good results in ML algorithm itself. So if you find very good, huge amount of data set and a very good amount of images, then we can go with the deep learning.
Ma'am, and also, could you suggest any software tool where we could perform ROI analysis and also to extract the time series information of that particular regions which are responsible for the neurological disorder while using the fMRI data?
You're asking me to do tell some ROI tools, right?
I'll send that query also to
I'll
you,
just
ma'am.
send you the query.
Yeah, I'll send you.
Yeah. So you can make use of some surfer tool is there. Okay. Some surfer tool is there to find ROI analysis. Then we have one more tool called for MRI. That is, I don't know, this is a license of FR MRI. It's a tool where we can do that ROI analysis. So this one you can see in the medical hospitals, like medical colleges, where that house surgeon people, they are learning with the help of this software tools to analysis the predictions.
And which algorithm is best for tongue thermal image segmentation for diabetic prediction?
Which one? Which algorithm is good for? Segmentation algorithm you're asking, huh?
Best for tongue thermal image segmentation.
So thermal segmentation, it comes already. So again, which specific algorithm? See, if you're going for thermal thing means better we can go with the hybrid approaches. Okay, like you can make use of some FCN, fully convolution network, and transformer based model that would help you to detect that boundary clearly.
Ma'am, and is there any resources to learn about the application or implementation of the explainable AI?
Okay, I will share it to you. Like in NVIDIA, they are proposing one exclusive course for this medical image processing by means of this XAI. Just I will share it with you, ma.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, also, can you post the tools that once again in the chat box regarding that ROI analysis?
Yes, yes, yes. This is a photo and FR MRI tool. Okay.
Also, we have this question. Working, someone has told that they are working in gastrointestinal ulcers.
Mhm.
One hospital told them that they will capture screenshots from colonoscopies video. Another hospital told them that they are capturing up to 30 images for a patient and not storing that colonoscopy videos. They are asking if we are capturing screenshots from that images.
Mm.
How many images can we take for one patient? Also, the second question is that it will be high definition images to work with or not. I'll send this question to you, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. See, if you're anyone, if you're taking from video frames, my suggestion is you should take at least some, the maximum level is 36 images, at least you should take from each frame. That like each minute you should take one frame and convert into images. At least 36 images should be there in the data set to define that particular thing. You just take 36 images for one particular patient for that particular video to train your data set. That would be helpful for you to come up with all the solutions. Because we have one more you just go through this laparoscopic images. If people those who are interested to work in the laparoscopic images, we don't have laparoscopic images, we have only laparoscopic videos. uh, that too you can refer this one laparoscopic videos. You can put gem hospital, they are providing a lot of surgeries, online surgeries. Laparoscopic video images would be there. You can collect that thing and do for your research. Gem Hospital, the Gem Hospital from Coimbatore. You just Google it. So there you can get very good amount of laparoscopic surgery videos as well as the endoscopy surgery videos.
They are asking, will it be redundant or can they add all the images in the data set?
Even though it is redundant, you should take maximum number of images. That would be good. For laparoscopic and endoscopic surgery, you can take videos from that hospital. So they have published some videos for research community peoples exclusively. They have published some videos like appendicitis videos are available. Then cancer removal video laparoscopic videos there. And again for endoscopic also you can find some videos, but there the video time duration is around 80 minutes or 60 minutes videos are there. But for us, we cannot take all those 60 minutes frames and convert it into images. So we just try to remove the pre part and post surgery part, and you just take the mid portion of the surgery videos, and there you start converting into frames. like video frames to images. Then you can start trying your data set.
Ma'am, and also, is there any data sets available for human biofield images where the magnetic field around the human body is captured in color format?
Human biofield.
Yeah, ma'am.
See, one interesting thing is this magnetic biofield. Professor Vijay Sugumaran, his name. He's from Oakland University. His research is particularly on this biofield mechanism. Based upon this, he can do that Gesher or gate analysis because the Alzheimer people they find easily faint for some reasons. So for them, the thing is based upon that. What to say biofield, how we can prevent that fall. So Professor Vijayan Sugumaran, his name Vijayan Sugumaran, Oakland University, kindly refer those papers, his papers, that would be helpful for you.
Ma'am, and what are the metrics that can be used for low light image enhancement in colonoscopy?
See, again, I told you that image acquisition plays a major role. If it is a very low quality, kindly you just ignore those images. Better you can get good images. Because image enhancement is something different. Then you are capturing some good resources of images that would be helpful. There you can enhance your image, but your image itself is very low, means we cannot able to get any information out of those images. Whatever enhancement techniques or whatever filters you are applying, we cannot get the real thing because I told you the medical images, even the subtle features plays a major role. So carefully we have to capture those subtle features by means of proper standard acquisition devices. If it is very low, better you can go with the good quality of images.
Ma'am, they're asking, can you please post the researcher of that biofield images in the
Yeah,
chat?
yes, yes.
Ma'am, also, is there any data set publicly available for that? Sorry, anything that is available for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis disease?
See, you can take any neuro data set here, ADNI. They are readily providing all modalities, CT scan, MRI scan. Then apart from that, we have that fMRI. All those things are there available. Very excellent data sets are available there in ADNI. The only thing is you should clear the test. Whatever the preliminary test they are assigning, after the clearance only, they will provide the NDA agreement. Then they will provide the data set only for the period of 3 months. You can do your implementation part, get the result, and put his name or her name, whoever is sharing this data set. Then you can close your complete your thesis. But definitely you'll be getting the real time data set. But there is some period like 3 months or 4 months like that. You'll be getting all balanced data set in all categories. You can find a more number of images.
Ma'am, that's all the questions for now. Maybe we
Okay,
can
fine.
move to the next session.
Yeah, I will move on to next presentation.
Okay.
I hope you can see my screen.
Till now, nothing is visible.
Visible
Yeah,
now?
ma'am, now it's yeah, ma'am, it's
Yes, yes. Okay. So let me move on to our next presentation, which is all about transformer. We are going to discuss about this transformer. So transform your vision AI through the transformer. Okay. So here, this is simple network architecture, but it plays a lot of magic in all fields, particularly in a manufacturing area, industries, or You can see like image processing field like medical, healthcare, agriculture, then NLP applications. So a lot of things are taken care by this transformer. So now let me start this foundation of simple transformer. From there, we will see about our vision transformer that is applicable for many medical image processing tasks. So here I will tell you the applications. You can see here the BERT model is there, OpenAI is there, ChatGPT, Vision Transformer. So all these things not happened within a single night. So almost 2 to 5 years, the researchers working behind this model, and now we are seeing this applications of various things from this transformers. So, what do you mean by transformer? First, the transformers were developed to solve the problems of sequence transduction and the neural machine translations. So, transformer model is a neural network that learn context and thus meaning by tracking the relationship in sequential data, like the word in the sentence. So here, basically, this transformer is applicable for NLP problem, natural language processing. But nowadays, in medical clinical aspect also, we have lot of chatbots exclusively designed for various applications. For example, when a mother is having their child in the womb, during the prenatal phase, lot of queries arise in the mind. So for that, a chat GPT was developed with the help of this transformer, and to provide the solution for all queries. If suppose that mother is not able to sleep, what happened, suppose if she needs some clarification about their child movement, or about the water content in the womb, or whatever the queries that arise to that particular lady, she can clarify with the help of the chat gpt. So like this, we can develop with plenty of medical chat GPTs with the help of this simple neural architecture called transformer. So this NLP like text classification is there, token classification is there, and table question answering. We have the plenty of applications behind this transformer. So I can say one another chat GPT for you also have come across like party Vaidyam. You just put the chat GPT, it's an open source. For any problems you're getting, you can chat with the party, the grandmother, and you can get the solutions. With the help of some home remedies, we can sort out the problem. Then like this, many people are coming forward, many researchers are coming forward to develop the chat GPT for medical and healthcare data set. Also, we have one more new applications. See, the script, the transcriptions file that has been written by doctors will not be understood by people. So here again, those transcription we can capture the scan images and we can convert into text, and we can give into any other language or voice message, anything. See, with the help of this transformer, we are doing a lot of applications nowadays. So let me discuss what all the foundations or what all the building blocks behind the transformer that makes this magic. Okay. So here you can see 70% of RK papers on AI posted in the last 2 years mentioned the transformers. So I hope you understand the importance behind the transformers. So this is a common application I have taken from Google, like the data set that has been taken from text or images or speech, structured data, 3D signals. We are going to train with the transformer model, and we can do a lot of applications here, like question answering, what I told you, like ChatGPT, then sentimental analysis, information extraction, image captioning, object recognition, plenty of things we can do with this transformer. Now here I will explain you with the simple NLP applications, translating the below sentence into some other language, like the transformer or a Japanese. So the band, here you can see the sentence. The band was formed in 1968 during the height of the Japanese music history. You can see the transformers or a Japanese band. Okay, there are many examples where words in some sentences refer to the words in the previous sentences. Okay, so for translating sentences like that, a model need to figure out those sort of dependencies and connections between the first sentence and second sentence. Okay, so here you can see the small evaluation of this transformer. The very first image where you can see is a vanilla RNN. Okay, Since it's vanilla RNN, it will work only for the sequential data. It cannot be work for what to say, like a huge volume of data. So the vanilla RNN is very difficult to train the sequential model. So later it comes like a LSTM model, long short term memory. So here also you can see only the sequential computation inhibits the parallelism. No explicit modeling on long and short range dependencies. The distance between the position is also seems to be linear. So because of this limitation, next the GRU model is there, gated recurrent neural recurrent unit model. Here, this gated model, again, we find some difficulties of handling the parallel data. So now we are added this gated GRU model with the attention layer model, and we can see the results that you are obtaining from this attention model connected with the network with this GRU model. You can train the sequence data very effectively. Also, the problem in RNN is difficult to handle the parallelism. So that is why we are just adding this attention layer with the GRU. Later, to overcome the difficulties in this model, we come up with this transformer. Okay, so that is why this convolution neural network, see, work in parallel is that each word on the input can be processed at the same time and does not necessarily depend on the previous words to be translated. So now we will see that importance of transformer. Before that, here what I told you that about RNN, to translate some text, we can set each input as the word in that text. The recurrent neural network passes the information of the previous word to the next network. They can use and process that information. So RNN will always take the information from the previous sentence. Each word is processed separately and the resulting sentence is generated by passing a hidden state and to the decoding stage. Then it generates the output. So RNN became very ineffective and the gap between this relevant information and the point where it is needed became very large. So that I told you that vanilla RNN is not in use. So then we came to the evaluation of LSTM. By doing some small modifications in addition multiplications, we can generate the huge information flow. So in this way, the LSTM can selectively remember or forget things that are very important. So that's why LSTM is also outdated. So then we are working on the transformers. One second. So transformer, here you can see this is the block diagram behind the transformer. We are having that in encoder and decoder part. So there are some applications that make use of only encoders and there are some applications that will make use of only decoders. In some application, we can make use of both the encoders as well as the decoders. So here, suppose the input, we are asked our ChatGPT or any transformer, write a story. Okay, immediately what will happen means, it will start like this. Once upon a time there is something like that, it will start. Okay, so once your input is write a story, the pre-processing will take place by these three phases like tokenization, embedding and positional encoding. This pre-processing output we are going to feed into series of transformer blocks where you can see the attention block as well as feed forward. This attention block plays a major role in the transformer as well as this feed forward is a neural network algorithm that plays a major role in the transformer that help you to train the huge volume of data. So this will be sending to the softmax to generate the output. Okay. So this is the preliminary development of the transformer blocks. Now we have seen both LSTM and RNN models were designed to process the language and performs a task like classification summarization. But in both the models, layers get the input word and have access to some previous words. Okay, to find out the new word, it's supposed to get access with your previous word. So they use the word embeddings where each word has encoded as the vector 100 to 300 real numbers representing its meaning. Okay. So now we are going to see how your transformer plays a role and replacing all this RNN, LSTM and GRU model. So here this transformer, we are going to take the input. It allows the network to process a word input, knowing the words in both its left and right context. It provides more powerful context model because it adds the additional features like attention phase in the encoder as well as the decoder. As I told you, we can see this transformer only as the encoder. without bother about the decoder. We can see BERT model is working only with the encoder, and ChatGPT is only working with the decoder model. So here you can see this is a transformer model working on encoder as well as the decoder. So very good example combining both this encoder and decoder is T5 model. Here I hope you have come across these things, GPT-2 and BERT model, right? So if we do not have input, we just want a model to find next word. We get rid of that encoder side of the transformer. Only the output is the next word one by one. So this will give us the chat GPT. If you are only interested in training the language model for the input for some other task, we do not need to decode we decoder of the transformer. This gives us the BERT. So if you are start developing medical chat GPT, you need to ensure, are you going to add the history or are you going to make use of only this decoder part? So based upon the requirement, you can make use of this model. Then transformers are typically use the semi-supervised learning, okay, with the unsupervised pre-training over the very large data set of general text, and it's supposed to follow the supervised fine-tuning parameters over the focused data set of input and output for the particular task. So here hyper parameter fine-tuning is very, very important for a clinical chat GPT. Then task for pre-training and fine-tuning, commonly it includes the language modeling. It's supposed to identify the next sentence prediction, question answering, then sentimental analysis. Here for medical thing, we supposed to make use of only question answering part. We also make use of some pre-trained models. Since training a model requires a huge data set, for example, Google BERT model is there and the Hugging Face is there, where you can come across various transformer model. You can make use of those transformer model from Hugging Face. So here it is given. You can Google huggingface.co. You can find the models. Plenty of models are there. You can make use of those pre-trained models for your application. And specifically, you just mentioned you are doing translation or a classification or a chat GPT like question answering. So based upon that, you can take this OpenAI and you can make use of it. So this is GPT-2 exclusively meant for decoder, and BERT is only works on the encoder part. That is only for the input phase, where the next word will not bother about that thing. So here we have seen the GPT released in June 2018. Now is the GPT-3. Now GPT-4 is also there in the market. You know about the GPT-4. Earlier it's supposed to be called as a preterm baby. Now it seems to be like it is a matured one, where you can find more details and more relevant details. Again, here the prompt plays a major role. We are supposed to define the correct prompt, because prompt again defining the correct prompt will get the exact results. If you change the prompt slightly and try to gather the data, try to gather the result, you can find different results for the same question. So for clinical ChatGPT, the prompt engineering itself is a separate module where we have to work a lot in the prompt engineering to define your dictionary, to define your data set correctly. Then you can give your prompt with the exact keyword, you will get the very good results. So now we will see the transformer. As I told you, the problem is that CNN do not necessarily help with the problem of figuring out the problem of dependencies when translating sentences. That is why the transformer were created. They combine both the CNN as well as the attention module also. So to solve this problem of parallelization, the transformer tried to solve the problem by using encoder and decoders together with the attention model. So this attention boosts the speed of how fast the model can translate from one sequence to the another sequence. So here you can see the language is given in Japanese language and your transformer is converted into English language as an output. So we will see that role behind the encoder and decoder, as well as what all the key components present in encoder as well as the decoder. So here, if it is a T5, T5 is a text-to-text transformer. This will work for translation as well as question answering part, where it involves both the encoder as well as the decoder. So in ChatGPT, GPT-2, you see only decoder is there, and BERT model only encoder is there. In T5, we supposed to make use of both encoder as well as the decoder. So now let us see how to solve the sequence problem by using transformer. So this is the block diagram behind the transformer. I think you can see this diagram. One second. So here you can see we are having encoder and decoder. The input part is this one, and this is the output phase. And in both the phases, we supposed to do some embedding part. Then we have to add the positional encoding. I will tell you what is the meaning behind this input embedding and positional encoding. Then after this result, we are going to send it to the encoder part. This is entire thing is called encoder. Here in this architecture, you can see, and this entire phase is called decoder. And we have 6 layer of encoder and 6 layer of decoder. Each layer, you can see this is a field for multi-head attention. That is, attention phase is there, not a single attention, single model. We are having multi-head attention. In order to avoid the difference between the same word from different places, we supposed to make use of this multi-head attention. And then we have to feed this to feed forward neural network where it handles the huge voluminous of data. Now this result will be sent to the output, where in the output we are writing our prompt. We are supposed to give the correct prompt, and this prompt is also added with the positional encoding and sending to the decoder part. And you can see this arrow mark from here. For each and every phase, we are supposed to get the 3 parameters. One is query, another one is key, another one is value. Just I will show you in detail here. So here in this diagram, we are sending the input, and input is pre-processed here by means of the input encoding and the positional encoding. And this will be sending to the encoder part. Encoder result we are passing to the decoder. In the output phase also, we are having some pre-processing technique. So before you will be getting the probabilities of output, you supposed to send the right prompt and the positional encoding. Then you pass this to the decoder to get the various possibility of output things. So we are not going to get one single output. We will be getting possibilities, probabilities of different outputs. So now let us see in depth about the encoder phase. The encoder, as I told you, is composed of the 6 identical layers that takes the input information of one sequence. So each layer has the 2 sublayer. One is we have seen that is multi-head attention and the feed forward network. So this multi-head attention mechanism plays a major role. As I told you, the attention layer, when it is added with the GRU, the result behind that network seems to be a magical one. So we have to we included this multi-head self-attention mechanism and fully connected feed-forward network. I think in the last lecture you have learned about the deep forward network, and here in this transformer we are going to see about the feed-forward, fully connected feed-forward network. So also we employ some residual connection around each of the 2 sublayers, followed by the layer normalization. Some residual things also added here. To facilitate this residual connection, all sublayers in the model as well as the embedding layers produce the output of dimension as 512. The D model is said to be 512. So just I have taken this details from Hugging Face as well as from PyTorch. I will show you. In the decoder part, if you take move on to decoder, again there is a 6 identical layers, taking the prompt output and throwing out the possibility of future words that can occur. So whenever you are writing one word, immediately you will be getting some possibility of recommendation. You can make use of this word, this word, this word. You will be getting some recommendation. Then we can choose the right word. Okay. So here the decode, you'll be getting the various probabilities of output depending upon the input what you are sending. In addition to these 2 sublayers in the encoder layer, what I told you, that a multi-head attention as well as a feed forward, the decoder insert the 3rd sublayer which performs multi-head attention over the output of the encoder stack. So this one. Okay. So this input is a masked multi-head attention. Is going to one more layer in the output decoder part. We will see what is the job behind that. So here, similar to encoder, we employ the residual connections around each sublayer, followed by the layer normalization. We also modify the self-attention sublayers in the decoder stack to prevent the position from attending to subsequent positions. So I will take you in detail about the masking, embedding and all. So I hope you have come across this huggingface.co where we can take a lot of APIs and natural language processing we can do with the help of that. You can take PyTorch library. You just click this torch.nn neural network dot transformer. You can see the parameters present in the transformers. So here I told you there are 6 identical encoder layer and 6 identical decoder layers are there. Each layer encompasses the two things, multi-head attention as well as feed-forward neural network. So you see the total number of parameters is around, I think here it is visible or not, around some 58 lakhs parameters are there working behind this transformer model. So you can see weight bias for each and every encoder layer and every decoder layer. So I will show you in detail. So the next thing is we should know what is the role of embedding. Each word is embedded into vector of size 512. This is the first step in the transformer. We are going to perform this embedding to both the input as well as the output, where we are going to define the word size. Okay. So this one we are going to make use of one hot encoding. Embedding is a relatively low dimensional space into which you can translate into high dimensional vectors. Okay. So you are going to change that low dimensional value to vectors. With the first step is one hot encoding. Okay, where each word is represented as a binary vector with the dimension equal to the vocabulary size. The value of 1 indicating the presence and 0 means 0 otherwise. So we can make use of word to vector or glove. These are all the static word embedding tools where we can make use of this one hot encoding. The importance of embedding is nothing but see here you are performing that one hot embedding. Before we are going to transform this to your encoded part, carefully we have to do this encoding. So this encoding will help you to define the tokenization, what are all the possibility of words that you can take for the next thing, and this will give you the corpus data set as well as the vocabulary also. So embedding plays a major role to represent your words clearly in the corpus. Apart from word embedding, we have the positional encoding. This positional encoding is very similar to word embedding, except it is the position in the sentence is used as the index rather than one hot encoding. As I told you, position embedding encoding will help you to differentiate same word in different context. So that is the objective behind the positional encoding in the transformer. Okay. So here you see token embedding is there and position embedding is there. Without this positional encoding, transformer cannot distinguish same word in the different place. For example, if you are defining the word bank, the bank means it's supposed to take it as a money bank or river bank or anything. In order to differentiate the difference between these two banks, we can make use of this positional encoding in the transformer. So that's why we can make use of this positional encoding in both the input as well as the output phase. Output, that is both the encoder as well as the decoder phase. So there is some value is given in the positional encoding to distinguish that same word in different phases. We can make use of absolute positional encoding is there and relative positional encoding is there. We can make use of depending upon our applications. So here again the token embedding, the parameters given and position embedding is also given. So this V refers the vocabulary size that the text we are going to feed as an input, and this is the size of the embedded vector. And here it refers the N refers the maximum sequence length, and this is the size of the embedded vector. So we are going to feed this as an input to both the encoder as well as the decoder. So in the pie chart, just I have taken this snapshot how this transformer model works for encoder. So you see totally the encoder layers are 12 layers it has given, and you can see the vocabulary embedding dimensions by 12 here, and total number of parameters involved in the transformer model is 6 to 3 lakhs parameters are there, and you can see that embedding parameters are totally 5 lakhs 12,000 is there. So this is the entire modules involved in the transformer as well as the parameters given here. So while working in the PyTorch, you can because these are all the like black box. We doesn't know what is happening behind the transformer. We are simply sending the input, we are getting the output, and we are measuring the accuracy. But we doesn't know where we are realizing what is happening behind the black box. So if you go through that N and the transformer model, you can see what all the parameters are working behind this and what all the bias and weight, everything you can listed like this in detail. Here you can see the total trainable parameters is given here, including both the encoder as well as the decoder phase. And now we are going to search GPT-2 in Hugging Face. So you can make use of this code. See, I plan to give some hands-on, but this FDP, we don't have any hands-on. So that's why I have taken this snapshot from those Hugging Face and sharing with you. Okay. So you can import the GPT-2 tokenizer to tokenize that from pre-trained GPT-2. You can tokenize your input here before going to send the encoder part. So here you can see some vocabulary sizes given like this, and the input sequence is 1024. You can see the token embedding and positional encoding values are taken from this model, because if something is going to do some magic, we should know what all the parameters that makes this black box to perform this magical thing. So here you can see the attention block is the backbone of the transformer architecture, where you should know the attention block is making use of this collaborative filtering or content-based filtering. So you can see from this diagram, you can understand the collaborative filtering is nothing but similar users watching moving means based upon their feedback, we are taking that feedback as a collaborative filtering. Whereas here, content based is watched by user that is recommended for another user. Okay. So here you can see the content based filtering recommends item based on their similarity to item that user has previously liked. Based upon that, the content based filtering will work. Whereas the collaborative filtering recommends the item based on the preference of similar users, something we call social filtering. Mostly, your collaborative filtering uses algorithm to filter the data from user review to make more personalized recommendation for the user. So now the point you should take here is attention block is working similar to your collaborative filtering. So it's a social filtering. In taking the words, embedding them, reduce its dimensionality and create the features automatically. So take the aggressive embedding and transfer them to contextual embedding depending on the sentence you proceed. So here the attention module is making use of the collaborative filtering. Okay. So attention, this is the first step in calculating the self attention. It's nothing but you have to create the three vectors from each of the encoder's input. See, basically we are sending some input and we are asking the ChatGPT to generate. Our ChatGPT is giving plenty of things. If you ask ChatGPT to create story, it will give story. If it is a two-page story, it will give two-page story. If you ask them to generate poem, it gives you a poem. If you put any queries, it will give the answer. Okay. So, but behind this ChatGPT, how the transformer, how this attention, a backbone is working behind that. So here, for each word, we create the query vector, key vector, and value vector. So this is the first page in the attention module, which is the backbone of the transformer. So for each word, we have to create this query vector, key vector, as well as the value vector. These vectors are created by multiplying the embedding by three matrices. You can see here the input you are sending some word, and the embedding, this will multiply with the embedding, and embedding is nothing but some weight matrix. Here we are passing three parameters: query parameter, key parameter, and value parameter for each and every word. Okay, so you'll be getting, as an outcome, you'll be getting some probability of queries, key, and values. Next, we need to calculate the score. Okay, the score is calculated by taking the dot matrix of the query vector with the key vector of the respective word. So we, as I told you, query, key, value, three parameters they are passing. We need to calculate the score. If you are processing the self attention for the word in the position 1, the first score would be the dot product of Q1 and K1. And second score would be Q1 and K2, dot product of query 1 and K2. So like this, we have to perform the possibility of connecting all the words with the corresponding keys. That is why when you're typing some word, immediately you'll be recommended so many things. Okay. So this is the way we have to calculate the score. And here we got some score. I think you can see my screen. Oh, sorry. You can see the query and K1 that measures and gives some values, right? 112 and 96. So the third and fourth step is something which is divide the score by 8. That is you have to divide the score by 8 in order to perform the key vector. And this will give some more stable gradient value. And then we have to pass this result to softmax operation where it normalizes the score and you will get all positive and add up to 1. Okay. So this is somewhat happening behind the black box. The softmax score determines how much each word will be expressed at this position. So this softmax, where you can see in this, just I'm taking you to that block diagram. This is the block diagram where you can find softmax at the output layer. So you are sending your input word. Input embedding is there, like word to vector. Then you are adding the positional encoding, and we have seen what are the parameters there in the positional and word embedding. Then we are feeding this to the encoder. Encoder, I told you the parameters and the thing behind it, multi-head attention and feed forward will process those things with the help of the three parameters queries, key and value, and you're passing that result to the decoder part, and finally you are sending this result to the softmax to get this output probabilities. Okay. Okay, so this is what that attention mechanism will work. We are having taking the n number of tokens, and we supposed to define the embedding size, and we have to pass this to three parameters. One is query, key, and value. And finally, you will be getting that output. Okay, passing this to the softmax, and finally, you'll be getting this output. Okay, so here we are sending this to multi-head attention, not a single head attention. Multi-head attention means in order to get more, train more amount of data set rather using single or simple single head attention. We can make use of this multi-head attention in the transformer. We are going to perform this dot product in the attention module. That is the query. As I told you, query q1 comma k1 q2 comma k2 q2 comma k1, like this. All the possibilities we have to perform here: additive attention and the dot product attention. Finally, you'll be getting the context vector. Then we have to do that scale product, just scale all the dot product of the attention, where query key I will be sending here, and this value is also sending here. The input consists of the queries and keys, as I told you. Then we will divide that value with the square root of decay. Then you will be getting that output, right? So this is the simple transformer model where we are making use of this multi-head attention. Multi-head attention means instead of single linear value, it will perform parallelism concept. Like parallelizing concept, if you are going to deal with a huge amount of data set in a single machine, we can go with that parallelism concept. Just by means of the multi-head attention, we can take all the input k, vk, value, key, and query in the multi-perception, like parallel processing to the multi-head attention. So here you can see the importance behind the multi-head attention function. Instead of performing single attention function, we can make use of this multi-head, where you can get that scaled dot product of all these three values together, and finally you can concatenate the result and get your final values. So that's why whatever the input you are feeding to the transformer, you'll be getting more accurate results in the outcome. So again, you are not only getting one single response, you will be getting the output probabilities. Anyone, do you have any experience in developing of chat GPT model or any chatbot project? Anyone, do you have any experience? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. We have not yet received any chats.
Okay, because if you have any experience in chatbot creation by means of this transformer, definitely you understand the operations or explanations what I'm giving here in this presentations. So we have one more important thing called feed forward network in this transformer. In the encoder and decoder, we have seen apart from attention module, we have the position wise feed forward network. So this feed forward is a fully connected layer which is applied to each position separately and identically. It consists of two linear transformation with the ReLU activation in between. So while the linear transformations are the same across the different position, they use the different parameters from layer to layer. Since we are here in this transformer, we have made use of 6 encoder layer and 6 decoder layer. And we supposed to define this parameter in PyTorch, which is the feed forward network parameters, both the bias as well as the weighted parameters. And it is a fully connected. And you can see the important applications behind this attention model. Again, you can see what happened in encoder decoder attention and the role of application encoder alone and a decoder alone. In encoder decoder attention, like T5 model, where you can see both the in T5 you can see both encoder and decoder. The queries come from the previous decoder layer, and the memory keys and values come from the output of the encoder. So this is very important. So the queries are come from the previous decoder layer, and memory keys and values that come from the output of the encoder layer. In T5 model, there is encoder decoder mechanism. This allows every position in the decoder to attend overall position in the input sequence. So this mimics the typical encoder decoder attention mechanism in sequence to sequence model. Such as this refers to your translation part. You can say there is a text to translation, or you can say where it involves both encoder and decoder. Okay, applications that involves encoder and decoder. If it is encoder alone, means it contains a self attention layer. In that self attention layers, all of the keys, value, and queries come from the same place because we are having only one place encoder alone. In this case, the output of the previous layer in the encoder, each position is in the encoder can attend to all the position in the previous layer of the encoder. So it deals only with the encoder. There is no decoder here. Similarly, self-attention layers in the decoder, it allows each position in the decoder to attend to all positions in the decoder up to and including the position. So the thing is, are we going to develop chatbot, or are we going to take only some question answering or only for translation? We supposed to choose which attention block are we going to use. Are we going to use encoder alone or decoder alone, or both encoder and decoder mechanism? So here embedding and softmax, similar to other sequence transcription model, we supposed to learn the embeddings, how it converts the input token to output token. And also we learn some linear transformation softmax function to convert the decoder output to the predictor next to token probabilities. We have one more important key points here, that is called skip connection. The overall structure of the feed forward layer of the transformer model is dependent upon the skip connection structure. So without skip connection, your model, we cannot train the model as per our expectation, and we will not get our results because many data will lost because of this skip connections. So carefully, we have to ensure whether the skip connection we have added in the transformer or not. So this is the another important thing to get very good prediction. We have to ensure the skip connection. So here we have seen the foundation and the key components involved in the transformer. So now you see from 2017, the transformer evolved 2017. Now we are in 2025, where you can see the evolution of Gen AI. At the same time, in 2021, the vision transformer evolved. Vision transformer is particularly useful for vision like video and images, where it involves the multimodal perception. The vision transformer is also work very similar to this transformer, but we have additional features in both encoder as well as the decoder part. So there are some real-time applications there in by means of this Gen AI across industry. You can see the various figures here: operational efficiency in warehouses, real-time asset tracking. This figure I have taken from like Amazon repository. So their centers would be like this. If they would like to track any product or anything, they like asset tracking, they can make use of the drones to capture the data set here. Like this, we can make use of this transformer and Gen AI vision transformer for autonomous planning and navigation and human robo interactions. Then defect inspection in factories. So it's a very another important area where we can make use of this vision transformer and Gen AI to find out the defect present in the motherboard. The very minute applications. So carefully we can generate this AI and deep learning models. We can find out whether the defect is present in this board. Then robo programming. So all this we can develop with the help of this Gen AI. So that's all about this transformer slide. So feel free to ask some queries. I'm happy to answer you. After this, I will take you to real case studies.
We have a question here.
Yeah, please.
Uh, Someone said that they need to develop application to find the stress levels of person, including the text, image, voice as an input. Can you please suggest them some algorithms and how to train the model?
See, vocal access is there on algorithm. You just go through that one. Where to identify the stress of the person, we supposed to get voice message. Like we ask some queries and we can record that voice message. We supposed to observe their iris movement, eye movement, their facial expression. We can ask them to get some handwritten thing doing stress. Okay, there is some difference between stress, depression, and anxiety. Okay, we can also classify whether the person belongs to because of his mood out is because of depression or anxiety or stress. We can diagnose with the help of this multimodal thing. You can just go through the vocal axis. Okay, that algorithm will help you to make use of all this model of data set. You can club all together and you can work with that algorithm. Any other thing?
Next up. Ma'am, how transformer will help in agricultural applications?
Yeah, again, there are two things. If you're going to develop some chat GPT for farmers or for people who are working in the agricultural field to know the pesticides content, to know the details about the what to say that some like some amount of monetary things would be informed by government. So all those details we can develop, like chatbot we can develop and we can provide to the agricultural people. Also, we can make use of this transformer to identify the by means of some sensor data. We can identify the level of moisturization, level of humidity, level of pesticides used on the plants. Like that, we can also make use of the transformer. So the vision transformer that you can apply for the images, like if there is a 10 hectare or 10 acres images, 10 acres of forming a field, you can capture the drones, capture the images through drones, and you can apply the vision transformer. You can analyze the color of the field and the place where the soil enrichment or water content, all those things you can analyze by means of vision transformer. So transformer is applicable for both developing the chatbot for specific applications for agriculture, and vision transformer you can make use to analyze the agricultural land, disease prediction, leaf color changes or something like that. See, if you take some coconut plant, it's very tall tree. Coconut plant, not, it's a coconut tree. It's very tall. Okay. Because of some reason, because of some white flies, you'll be getting some white color deposits on the leaf. That disease name is called sooty mold diseases. Sooty mold. What happened? Because of this white flies that simply sat on the leaf of the coconut tree, it creates one white color layer on the top of the leaf. Because of that white color, that photosynthesis is not happening. So if photosynthesis is not happening properly, the development of fruit or development of the coconut and the amount of water present inside the coconut is also less and tasteless. Only because of this white flies that create that sooty mold diseases on the tree, the leaf of the coconut. So this problem is not only so this problem we recently got from Sri Lanka, particularly in Jaffna. But that problem is not only in the Jaffna. In India, in Tamil Nadu also, wherever you can find this coconut tree, you can get the sooty mold diseases. So again, here by means of some images, you can capture through drones and you can apply some vision transformer and you can see the color changes in the leaf. Days, number of days that leaf color changes from green to white. Earlier prediction, better to prevent this problem. So where you can apply this algorithm. Yes.
And ma'am, they're asking if you could reshare the link for the feedbacks.
What ma'am? What link?
The feedback links, ma'am. They're asking if you can post it in the chat.
Which link you are asking? Feedback.
Yeah, feedback.
Yeah, I will share that screen. I think. You are asking this feedback link.
Yeah, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah.
Ma'am, and for gastrointestinal cancer, which deep learning model will be best? Like we can go with deep CNN models or transformer models.
See, for gastrointestinal, again, we supposed to make use of. See, nowadays the vision transformer is doing lot of things. Not only for images, for particularly for video frames, we can have the vision transformer. That would be good. That will really gives wonderful results rather than having this other deep learning models. You can go vision transformer with the more number of encoding and the decoder layers.
And where can they get real-time data for heart disease prediction?
See, heart disease, I don't have much contact with the heart disease, but I told you that that cardiac arrest will be captured by that device which is called NanoVeer. It's a sensor device. I will show in the next presentation where we can. Right now, they have published a small data set, but it is again it is not an image data set. It is a numerical data set. It's a real-time data set. It has been collected from US people after the product sold out with the 1,000 people. They have taken the data set for 200 people and they have shared in the publicly available. The data set is available. So that NanoVeer will help to identify your pressure, your BP, then your movement, stress level monitoring, and each and everything. Around 21 parameters are there, so that would help you to identify the earlier sign of the cardiac arrest. I don't think that images that would be helpful to identify the cardiac arrest. But if you want to work on the images, I will try to find out and to share it with you. Right now, we don't have any database for heart images to work on that particular problem. But to prevent the cardiac arrest, we can make use of that sensor data set.
Ma'am, they're asking what about vision language model for agriculture?
Vision.
Vision language models.
See, for agriculture, you can make use of this the transformer model with the help of that encoder. You can create that chatbot for specific applications, not for all. Because if you're going to recommend the chatbot for pesticide means, again it is more specific to what type of plants are you going to take, whether you are going to concentrate on seasonal plants like winter or summer or monsoon. So like this, you can go with a seasonal plan and you can apply some transformer logic deep learning models to collect those plants. We can recommend the corresponding pesticides. So this again, you can include the data set from original resources, not only from the data set you gather from Kaggle, also the data set you need to get from government, GOI, government of India. There you can see some agricultural universities are there. People are working on the real-time data set. So you can collect the data set from there and you can have partnership with the agricultural university. Then you can work on those data sets. That would be supportive for working on these agricultural data sets.
Ma'am, someone has asked that as shown in the model summary, there are so many number of parameters. What does they mean exactly? And also, if in terms of image as an input, what does these parameters mean? What does these parameters mean? The features that are extracted by the neural network. I'll send this question to you.
Yeah. You please kindly share the question.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Okay. So see, basically all our deep learning models we are working just act as a black box, right? Very few, like out of 100, very few know how to perform that hyperparameter tuning. We know what do you mean by learning rate, what do you mean by loss, what do you mean by FO. So what happened if you work for less number of data set with the more number of FO, we have some parameters to control. Okay, so actually here the transformer, as I told you, is the you have two important things. One is attention layer and the other is a feed forward layer. Both this layer together is having plenty of parameters, like I told you 6 encoders are there and 6 decoders are there. Each encoder in turn emphasize that multi-head attention layer together with the feed forward neural network, fully connected feed forward neural network. So for each and every layer, we are having some term called weight and some term called bias and something called you are adding that embedding parameter, you are adding the positional encoding parameter. So all this together, we have this number of parameters. Actually, we cannot go in depth to find what is the role behind each and every parameter. But the thing is, in image processing, if we apply some vision transformer on this image processing, you're getting exact features. See, in earlier traditional model, image processing application, we don't have any specific, like we have only like PCA and there is a principal component analysis and independent component analysis are there to get the features from the images. There too, like low level features or high level features like color or texture, or you can define some other low level values. But now in deep learning model, you can see all unimaginable futures also, you can get it through by means of this various parameters, inbuilt parameters inside this transformers. It's like we are not going to apply any future extraction or future selection algorithm in this neural network. Just everything is taken care by those parameters inside that transformer, what I have shown you exactly. So if you just, you're passing an image to the vision transformer, it gives wonderful results. Now, what happened means here each and every input layer, you know that input layer, hidden layer, and output layer is there. You know the fully connected feed forward neural network mechanism. The input how you are sending and the number of layers transforming that thing. One layer will be taken care of noise reduction. One layer is taking care of future selection and extraction. All those things. Okay. So this each and every parameter plays a major role, and then that is why you are getting wonderful results out of this deep learning or neural network algorithms. So now together, just we are adding one more thing called XAI. That XAI will help you to identify why. Why? What is the reason you are choosing this? What is the reason you are getting this? So that XAI along with this transformers or vision transformer, if you add that XAI, it will show the exact location in the image itself, in the heat map image itself. So in the next slide, I will show some of the case studies where we have applied that XAI, and I will show the results, how it differs from the normal earlier traditional models.
Ma'am, there's another question. Is the real-time data set for pneumonia available or only for detection of pneumonia data set, and its types are available or not?
Yeah, it is available because after COVID, the government of India itself has published this X-ray data set is available for pneumonia. X-ray data set is available. If you have any group, otherwise, Varsha, you share your mail ID. I will share the links of data set to you. Okay. I will specifically mention if it is Alzheimer data, it will be available here. If it is video frames like endoscopic data, you can collect it here. So like that, I will share some 10 links that would be helpful for people who are working in this research community. If you don't have any question, I will move on to the case studies.
No, we don't have any questions.
Okay, just let me take the case study. I hope it is visible now. Please check it.
Yeah, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So here, just I would like to take you how this XAI and the 3D deep learning algorithms interpret the results to the medical practitioner in more advanced level. Okay. So here I have taken some 4 case studies. One is interpretable deep learning for automated retinal damage detection. So recently, people after this pandemic, many IT industry people they started getting these issues, retinal damage. Okay, one such cases because of I think you have come across that glaucoma. There is something called diabetic eye infection. The glaucoma disease that what happens means it will make the vision blur initially, then it will make the vision lost. Okay, so this particular problem happened rigorously more number after this pandemic, 2019, 2020. So here we got one hospital consultancy project to allow us to work with their real-time data set to automate the retinal damage detection. But here, before working on that real-time data set, they advised us to get some result with the existing data. Okay, so this paper I will show some of the data set which has been obtained from Kaggle and how we have interpret our results through XCI to you. Okay, Then the second paper is something different, lung cancer classification. Here again, we have applied some various deep learning models along with the explainable XAI, how you can get that tumor exact location. Okay. After this paper, which has been published, we got this the third project from a global hospital that is called XEEG, which is nothing but we have to insert the electrodes inside the brain, that is called to capture the EEG signal for epilepsy. So this is the third consultancy project. I will show it to you. Then last one is, as I told you, that our alumni, the professor did some nanowire. I will show that also to you. Just for a research perception, broad perception, I have taken this thing example. So for retinal damage detection, here we have taken the image from OCT, that is optical coherence tomography images. So it refers something identification or diagnosis of abnormalities or diseases affecting the retina. Okay, so retina, you know, there is a light sensitive tissue where rods and cones are there that help you to recognize the amount of light entering into the eye. So it is the back portion of the retina is the back part of the eye. Okay. This condition can lead to vision impairment or blindness if left untreated. So carefully we have to detect earlier based upon the symptoms and try to provide the solution. Actually, what happened means this particular research, that this research will be helpful for people who are new to this ophthalmology department. If they would like to know what are the different cases, different retinal diseases are available, abnormalities, and how to classify, if they get any new patient, if suppose they sensitize, they said there is some yellow spot on the eye, on the retina, then they supposed to come up. The problem name is called Rushan. So for that, this project is we just hand over this project to medical hospital here. So this the ultimate motivation is early detection. We need to prevent that vision loss and increase the global burden of retinal diseases. Nowadays, it's retinal disease very common. If 10 people are there, if we diagnose that retinal diseases would be there for 6 to 7 people. So carefully we have to care a little bit much earlier based upon the symptoms. Then it needs more explainability in AI models also. Nowadays, any deep learning model which is going to apply for healthcare, it would be better to add this component also, XEI. Okay. So here you can see the three images. This one is called Drushan, where you can find a lot of yellow spots on the retinal portion on the eye images. And this is something called a lot of blood vessels, and this is called neural problem, like CVN. I will tell you the carotid neuro problem. And if you find bleeding inside this, because of the sugar diabetic, there is sometimes the bleeding will occur inside the eye. So this one we supposed to call it as a, here you can see the four categories, DMV. That is a Duchenne. One minute, I will tell you the category of D and E. D and E is nothing but diabetic macular edema. Okay. So here, just the data set, here we have collected from Kaggle, as I'm telling you. Duchenne data set is there, and diabetic macular edema data set is there, and choroid vascularitis is also there, nerve vascularitis. That is, which means your eyes, you can see a lot of nerve neural branches of the eyes. So now, what we done with this means we collected this data set and just start preparing for training and testing. Here you can see this is a block diagram where we got this OCT images, and we have done some basic pre-processing. So this is the data set. You can see the normal data set would be like this, and if it is a Drusen, you can see that your X-ray image, it shows like this few yellow spot here. Since it is a grayscale, it shows like this. Then if it is a diabetic macular edema, you can find the variation in the rods and cones like this. It will be like this. Then in CNV, there is chronic choroid nerve vascularitis. You can find the image portion will be like this. So after doing the image processing, just we loaded the DressNet 50 model and followed by applying the transfer learning VGG16. We train our model and test our model to classify the various categories of the retino damage problem. So here, this is the architecture overall proposed architecture. Because nowadays we supposed to tell what architecture are we going to choose for the classification problem. So here the input consists of three color channel, and we have taken the input image as the pixel 150 cross 150, and there is a convolution layer to extract the significant features what it is needed for classifying this Drusen, DME, and CVN compared to normal images, and then we are passing this to max pooling. You know the role behind max pooling, and you know the role behind convolution 2D dense layer. I hope you have come across in the last 2 days. So finally, we are passing this output of the final convolution layer is flattened and passed through the dense layer to get the output, where we is a multi-class classification problem. It is not a binary problem. It is a multi-class problem. So this architecture, we have selected the three models which I told you: VGG16, Efficient Net B3, and ResNet 50. You may have one query why we have chosen this three network for this particular problem. We should do before going to pick the deep learning model thoroughly. We should undergo the literature review, literature survey, identify the strength and weakness of each and every model. Just like the randomly, we cannot choose any model and apply for medical images. Just try to do some very good literature analysis and come up with the models that will be applicable for any medical image problem. So here we have chosen the three models, which has the unique capabilities in image classification. And pre-trained on ImageNet, as I told you, transfer learning we have applied, and VGG16 was modified to capture the retina specific features from OCT images, and with its weight transferred to efficient net B3. So obviously we need to do some optimization here in order to get a balance computational resources and performance, and perform some scaling technique to adjust the depth and width of the images. And finally, early layers extracting low level features like edges and texture were kept frozen to retain the pre-trained knowledge during training. So carefully we have to set up this thing for the data set what we have taken. And ResNet 50 is selected for its depth and ability to address the vanishing gradient problem. You know the importance behind the ResNet 50 in order to define or categorize the hierarchical features in the OCT images for even the subtle changes or abnormalities present in the images. Then, as usual, we have to build the model by defining our optimizer, Adam optimizer, or you can make use of other optimizer also. Then define the learning rate. For this problem, we have defined the learning rate as 0.0001, and categorical cross entropy loss function was employed here. And carefully, you just try to define the number of epochs, and then define the configuration also, configuration setup for prediction. Then finally, we embedded this XCI, the results shown in the heat map to define the exact location of the tissue. So what about this XCI with the grade cam? The grade cam is gradient weighted class activation mapping was utilized to interpret deep learning model decision by generating heat maps highlighting the crucial areas in OCT images. So this grade cam is not only we can apply for this OCT images, you can apply for any modalities, because this grade cam will be supporting, and the SHA is another technique that will be supporting for any modalities of images, medical images, where we can get the exact location before taking the right decision. We can have this XCI with the grade cam, means that would be helpful for doctors to come to correct conclusion. So this heat maps confirm the model focus on the diseased retinal regions, such as abnormalities like Duchenne or CVN, or whether it is a diabetic macular edema. Okay, so I will take you that image. So this is the results and discussion which I told you. This is a normal, and here you can't differentiate exactly. Just I will take you that the thing. Here, wait one second. I will take it. Yeah, this is the image where you can find your XAI that clearly differentiate your issue where it gets affected. This is the original image, and this is the great camera images for all the diseases, Duchenne, and as I told you, the diabetic macular edema and choroid nerve vascularitis. We can see that heat map that gives some indication. So this indication, basically, if you are applying for normal deep learning algorithm, we couldn't see this exact location where it gets in affected. Okay. So this interpretation will definitely help the doctors to come up with a very good solutions. So here, out of this three model, efficient net B3 produce given a very good accuracy and precision compared to the other models. So we can also apply different models for classification of medical images. Also, you can include that XCI to identify the exact location for interpretation. This XCI is very good software or is very good program. Help the doctors as well as the engineers to identify the exact location. So this we have published in IEEE Big Data, which happened on Washington DC. One of our author belongs to US, so she went there and presented this paper, and she got a very good appreciation for this paper. Right? You can see this paper in IEEE Big Data. So you can also refer this paper if you need. Then the second problem, what we did means instead of VGE16, we just tried to take some other model and we plan to apply for lung cancer classification along with the HCI. Okay, so here, the reason for lung cancer because of the cancer, around 22% of global medical death is happening, and your WHO set some statistics before going to handle any medical project. We supposed to define the statistics clearly. What WHO refers, what our Indian government medical death report, everything we have to take, and we have to check to whom it affects more, whether men or women or age category. See, before handling any medical image, medical processing, medical clinical data set, carefully we should take this statistics. Okay. So this objective, this objective refers to training and validation of state-of-art models on the data set around 1,190 CT scan images. And again, here we did some classification, whether it is benign or malignant cases compared to the normal one. And we applied the transfer learning. The model is again evaluated by accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. We got efficient net B3 again is a very good performing, very best deep learning model for classification. We added that XCAI here as a shaft that is safely additive explanation heat maps. So this shaft will clearly identify the location where the tumor is present in the images. Also, it identifies the most influential features contributing to say whether it is benign or whether it is a malignant one. So again, this is the architecture, just very similar to that retino classification, retino damage classification. And you can see this model accuracy. This radar diagram clearly shows the F1 score of various things like ResNet, exception, and efficient net B3. And if you want to do any comparative analysis between the various model, this diagram would be helpful for analyzing the various model across their accuracy, precision, and recall. And this is where the XAI plays a role. This is the benign cases where our XAI clearly define the place where it gets infected. So benign cases in the lung. Okay. So again, this is a malignant cases. So you can see your XAI, it highlights some color in the image that gives the right direction to clinician or doctors before planning for any surgery. Also, if we started a surgery some wrong places, we're supposed to give the explanation also, which means we have to train our deep learning model in such a way we should give all possibilities of cases, which means your data set should be huge enough to give complete history or complete detail about this malignant cases. Okay, so this is something interesting which I told you. The automated path planning. So this one, you can see the brain image, and these are all the places based upon the video pictures or video frames. You can get this epilepsy data set, and before going to pass the electrodes into the brain, carefully we have to observe which portion of the brain that create this epilepsy or seizures. Okay, so you can see different modality of images is there. PET, eye spect is there. Post-operative images is also there. And before passing this electrodes, we have to carefully examine the region, which portion that gets impacted. You can see here in this image, you can see that electrode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrodes are placing there. This blue dot represents the electrode. Here the yellow dots represent the electrode. We cannot put any electrodes directly on the top of the head. Okay. So we can insert the electrode in such a way, we should not create any bleeding of blood vessels. Also, we should not what to say, damage anything, any other important part in the brain. So this is what our research project comes. We have to identify the possibility of path where we could exactly insert, because the images what we collected here is we can understand this portion of this region. Because of this region, the patient is getting that epilepsy. Okay, the patient is getting frequent seizure. So we, after this input from the doctor, also from EEG signals, we supposed to identify the exact location. Okay, so this is what the project that occurs. We have to identify the exact path before going to send this electrodes. See, so far we are not going to open any skull for surgery, just to diagnose the complete history or reason for the seizure or for fixed epilepsy. We have to insert some electrodes, and then we have to keep the patient for 2 days or 3 days under observations. So to identify, to insert those electrodes, we need some correct path planning. It's very, very important. So right now we have some devices, medical devices. Uh, the name of the device also sleep health monitoring. There is a device that capture all 360-degree of MRI brain images, and it will define the region where the probability of getting this epilepsy. So this input along with the EEG they are providing, and now with the help of deep learning models, we have to train all possibility of the images, and carefully we have to define that path with by means of your XAI. So this is something called automated trajectory planning algorithm for the placement of electrodes, that is called SEEG, stereo electroencephalography electrodes in epilepsy treatment. Okay, so this is what the real problem or real scenario that comes for researchers like us in the medical field. Okay, so these are all the various images where you could see the trajectories or multiple trajectories. If you want to diagnose one particular region, you need to insert at least 10 electrodes inside the brain. Okay, so with the minimum number of electrodes, the diagnosis is a little bit difficult. We have to insert, you can see there is the backside, there is a side view, that axial view, and you can see some different views, perceptions in the brain. So we have to identify that portion, and we need to plan this ACEG trajectory. Okay, this is quite interesting on neuro problems. We have a lot of research articles on this, and still the drawback is many researchers have done research on this, but nothing is in actually in use by the nothing is used by the doctors. That is the real time scenario. So researchers like us, we are doing plenty of research and publishing plenty of papers, and it is there in the repositories. But somewhere we should make our research that would be helpful for medicine or medical community people also. Here, the doctors, they are searching a lot of research articles, but nothing has helped them to identify the path without more bleeding in the brain, particularly for this SEG, EEG automated planning. This is the third use case where I told you detecting that earlier prediction of cardiac arrest. This is the tool which you can see. This is the NanoVeer. You can Google it and you can find it, the configuration behind this NanoVeer. The NanoVeer would be like a jacket. You could wear this NanoVeer, and this NanoVeer will do a lot of things. So here you can see it's a non-invasive continuous blood pressure monitoring, requires additional validation beyond the standard cup-based methods. Okay, so here is a real product where you can find this NanoVeer in the market, and this product is developed by our alumni whom I told you, that Vijay Varadan, evaluating the multi-parametric wearable cuffless BP diagnostic monitor. So which means here they have taken the lot of parameters, you can say 303 subjects they have taken right now, age from 18 to 83, because nowadays cardiac arrest is not only meant for elders, even 20 years old guy also getting this cardiac arrest, 50 years of getting 45 years, there is no age limit. And out of this 50% have taken a female is also participated in this program. So the hypertension is classified as a normal, hypertensive, and the stage 1, stage 2. Okay, you can see this journal in the Journal of Cardiovascular Translational Journal. You could find the same paper where you can find the real-time results and discussions and a model, how that model performed. So here 54 subjects were tested for induced BP changes performance, and 149 subjects exhibited the significant BP variations. And finally, they concluded through this NanoVeer, they could diagnose 24/7 that BP for a patient, and if there is any changes or any anomaly happened, any indication for cardiac arrest, very easily they can monitor through, because this NanoVeer that will collect the data and store the results in the cloud. Their cloud, through that wireless protocol, they can monitor the patient data, as well as they can recommend, and they can also providing some solutions to the people in order to prevent that cardiac. So this is the another wonderful area where researchers are working on nanotech. So these are all the 4 case studies which I would like to share with you today. That's all from my side. If there is any interesting question from your side, I'm happy to share. Yes, am I audible? You are not audible. Anu, your voice is not audible, Anu.
Ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. See,
Ma'am,
for bipolar disorder, we don't have any open data sets as of now, because for this, we also requested from our neurosurgeon to create some bipolar disorder data set, but we couldn't predict exactly that disorder is considered bipolar. So for that itself, they need to diagnose lot of test. After that only they will get this one. So this is very rare data set. So again, you ask one more guy, ask what kind of hardware infrastructure is needed. See, for this medical image processing, you need a very good processing power. You can get this from Intel. Intel, they have announced like open API, one API. You just Google it, one API. You can get virtual VM machines there, and you can get configuration, resources, cloud, everything there for the period of a month or a period of 3 months. So the thing is, again, you need to share your details with them, but it's a very good resources where you can do your huge processing, research, image processing and all. You can make use of one API. It's a wonderful place where you will get hardware support as well as software support. You will get all the resources, cloud, everything you will get in one place from Intel. Another good resources is you can try this NVIDIA. It's a place where you can get plenty of support for academicians, particularly for this medical researchers. You will get plenty of resources from NVIDIA also. Okay. Apart from that, Amazon cloud service and Google, they are providing very good space for processing and storage for academicians. So you can try that also, because to handle this huge voluminous of data, definitely you need a very good processing power of your hardware configuration. Even Google providing Google Colab, that would be applicable to handle for the small amount of data set. So if you want to work with the real time data set, you can try with the one API or NVIDIA. That would be great. No, it is not a paid one. For Intel One API, the thing is you have to first join in the One API that subscription. Then you have to do one certification. They will provide one certification free of cost. You're supposed to clear the certification, then you will be getting that One API, because it's a huge thing. They are providing the details, something called NPU. I think you all have come across this NPU system. Yeah, one second, I'm writing that. CPU, then we got GPU, graphical processing unit. Now we are having AIPU or something called NPU, neural processing unit. So nowadays, Intel, they are having that academic partnership with their colleges, and they are providing this NPU. So people from academician, you can also tie up with the Intel, and you can also request them. So initially, they did the workshop, like they are bringing 50 laptops with the NPU connections, and conducted some pre-workshops in the early period, but now it seems to be a cost one. So they are providing this NPU setup, and they are teaching how to work with this NPU or artificial intelligence processing unit. At the end, they are also providing some space, cloud space to access or to store your details there. All again is a subscription based. First 3 months it seems to be free. Within that, if you complete your work, wonderful. Otherwise, you have to pay. Thank you, madam. Anything? Anu, your voice is not audible. Anu, not audible, Anu. Yes.
Ma'am, they're asking that Intel API, is it paid or not?
Yeah, again, I told you, one API, you have to complete that course, initial prerequisite course. That one is not a paid one. So after completion, they will provide this one API. Before that, if you are academician, you can interact with the Intel academic partner, discuss with them, because TC is a very good institution, very branded one. So very easily you can associate with the Intel, and you can have that exposure among students, that NPU processing and access power, all those things. So if you request, if TCE will come forward and request to enter in Intel means, they are happy and ready to do this NPU workshop with the people. Anything else?
They are
So
typing, I
here
guess.
we can make use of efficient net pre-trained model would be good for MRI data classification. You can work on that efficient net.
Ma'am, can you suggest some data set where thyroid cancer images can be obtained?
Thyroid images, you can get it from this hospital. Yeah, I'm quoting this hospital name because very long time they are very much interested in developing some AI models for thyroid images. This is a gem hospital in Coimbatore. If you are having any doctors in your family, you can connect with there and you can get real time images, thyroid images, because very long time they are searching some good researchers to get into than like a thyroid based or retrieval system. So if you're really interested to work on that thyroid means you can connect with there. See, I'm in the medical image processing. I have done my research in 2014, but till now, I have some good contacts in from doctors as well as from both from people who are working the medical field. So, if you need any data set or any queries or anything from my side, you just ping me. I'm sharing. I think you do have my email ID. Just you can ping me. I will be happy to take those details to you. I'm sharing my email ID. Yes, obviously to learn to get the practical aspect of HCI, definitely it is a very good thing. You should learn the complete specialization package which is available in Coursera. Not only in Coursera, anywhere you can find it. You can supposed to have some very good knowledge about the HCI. Then only you know how to interpret the results, how to get that one. Okay. Fine, Shilpa. So you are working in thyroid cancer, right? So you just ping me. I will try to connect you to the GEM hospital. You can try to get the data set. Again, there is some NDA form would be there. You have to enclose that non-disclosure agreement. Then you can now get it. EGFR in the case or using SPM.
They're asking if there are any hospitals would provide bipolar data set.
No hospitals
No.
will come forward to provide the bipolar data set because very less data sets are there. Because again, it's very difficult to categorize whether that comes under bipolar or not. So that will not be applicable. I'm reading one more question from Eli Larasi, Eli Lalagi, I think so. Yeah, how visualize the activation happening in particular region. Yeah. So here, even though you are having some software like Gift or SPM, I don't think Gift, I don't know about the Gift software, but SPM software, you can visualize that activation map. But again, you don't know why, what is the reason behind that variations. So if you want to experience that why part, you're supposed to undergo that XEI. That would be greatly helpful to visualize your activation map as well as helpful to identify the location where the disorder is. I hope this answer satisfies you. Then, yeah, we have a lot of skin disease data set. Recently, skin disease again, there are various categories of diseases. Psoriasis is one separate disease that comes under skin disease. Sometimes we can say red spot, red color dot in the skin, or black color dot in the skin. We have variety of skin diseases. Okay, so you just come up what type of skin disease data set you are working on that. Okay, diabetic retinography. Yeah, I told you, no, just we are working on Vedanta Eye Hospital for retino-diabetic data set. Again, people are not ready to share the data set with the researchers like us. The one small clue I will give, if there is any doctors in your family, they are happy to share the data set with us through the doctor. Unless otherwise, it is very difficult to reach or to get network with the doctor itself. If you are having anyone in your family, through them, we can have one interaction directly to the hospital and we supposed to sign that NDA. Then they will share the data set. Again, you should not make the data set anytime public. You should not share your code in the GitHub and make them as available as public. You supposed to work confidentially and publish your data and sorry, publish your paper along with them. So that is the ultimate thing they are expecting. because nowadays doctors also having some threshold to publish their papers, research articles in medical journals. Any other question? Yeah, one second. I could see. Yeah,
Um, uh,
yeah.
they're
Yes.
asking like if I have 60 classes to train the model, can I train the model with three groups, such as 20 classes each?
Yeah. Again, now, what are the variations of these 20 classes? Do you have any variations out of the 60 class, or can you categorize 20, 20, 20? If so, you can do. Because while dealing medical thing, we cannot make two images as a single category. We cannot come to some conclusion. If it is a general processing, general image processing, if you're going to classify some trees or plant or car, if you're going to detect some defect in the car or defect in the building, the scenario is entirely different. But dealing
Yeah.
medical cases, the thing is very, very different. So you are asking 60 different classes. Is it possible to club 20, 20, 20? Again, you should categorize whether the problem comes under and lie in that particular bucket. Then you can categorize. Otherwise, it is not possible, not advisable to category altogether. Then,
Mm. Cancer, real-time data set also can we approach GEM hospital?
yes, I'm telling you the real-time data set alone, not the synthesized data set. You can collect the real-time data sets itself. Another good question I can see here, collecting data and annotation, huge data set is a tedious process. Obviously, collecting the data and the annotation is a huge process, but carefully, if you spend time and do annotation carefully, then you can avoid the number of errors. So carefully, we will never get labeled data, all labeled data from the hospitals. They will provide labeled data, one or two images, like they will define this a benign and this is a malignant. That's all. Based upon that, we have to annotate. We can have plenty of annotation tools. VGG annotation tool is there. You can make use of that annotation. And we have one more annotation tool called Orange. It's an open source. You can make use of that. And we have we have plenty of annotation tools. But carefully you have to annotate the medical data set. Obviously it will take more amount of time, but if you do this annotation properly, take the sufficient time, do it properly, then the error, you can avoid the errors at the end. So that would be a great thing. Once only you have to done this annotation part carefully. That is very, very important. Again, TCGA data set, again, you can get the data set access, but again, you will get only limited data set, not a huge volume. See, again, I'm telling you, no, the medical data set is not so possible, easy to get huge volume of data set. You collect the data set and apply the augmentation technique, try to increase the data set size and do apply some deep learning model, do it. You can show this to some doctors, then they are ready to come up and provide you a good real-time data sets.
Ma'am, what about TCGA? Can we get dataset access easily?
Yeah, that is why I told you will not get complete details there. You will get only few samples.
Okay. Are there
See,
any
whenever,
metrics to come? Sorry, ma'am.
yeah, yeah, please
Sorry.
continue. Go ahead.
Are there are there any metrics to compare explainable AI model agnostic with model specific approaches?
You are asking any metrics?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. See, while interpreting your XAI, we have that heat map. Heat map that will help you to generate that XAI, that location. Okay. So if you are going to make use of that heat map interpretable parameters, you will get some three parameters. So that three parameters will help you to identify that based upon the color variation, based upon the texture, based upon the location, it will provide some three important parameters. So that will help you to compare those parameters.
And they're also asking to specify the annotation tools that you mentioned in the chat box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One article is shared by Dakshina Murthy. One second, just I will open the article. Yeah, absolutely. So you can see, just I'm reading that article, 26 26,600 hectare தென்னை மரங்கள் பாதிப்பு. So you can see here, this is when you go through this one, this is because of that white flies. I told you, no, that sooty mold diseases. So that sooty mold diseases, what happened means, we cannot prevent that white flies, because during the season, the white flies will come and occupy on the leaf of the coconut tree and will create that white layer exactly. So this white layer will prevent photosynthesis. So this obviously it will affect plenty of things. So what happened means, even though see Dakshinamurthy shared one article here, I'm speaking about that one. So what is the solution behind this? We can also apply pesticides, but how will you pour the pesticides which is there on the top of the tree? Because the leaf on the tree seems to be very tall. All coconut trees seems to be very tall. Okay, and the top layer, top surface of the leaf, that white flies will sit and create the sooty mold diseases. So this white flies, if you want to prevent, the thing is, we can set some sensor. Whenever the white flies come closer to leaf, we can give some sound or we can make some vibration. Again, it is not possible, because 50 hectares of area you are planting that coconut plant. It is not possible to connect sensor in each and every tree. Again, if you monitor through drones with a superficial camera, you try to diagnose when the flies are coming. Thereby, we can make some drones like setup on the top of the flies, or if it is a 50,000 hectare, we can create a very big level of device that safeguard your entire tree. We still many researchers are working on this particular sooty mold diseases. So you can, it's a very good research problem. We have a lot of scope across the borders. Not only in India, we have the same problem in Sri Lanka and many other places in the country. So you can work on that problem. Then, can you please tell me research idea related to autism? Yeah, in the autism, see the neuro level, the autism kids, basically they will get fixed. Okay. So again, we can get that epilepsy data set of the autism kids and try to analyze their level of level, what to say, level of infection. Okay, not, it is not like an infection. Through the iris data set also, sometimes we can get to know whether that kid is affected by autism or not. Because autism kid, their iris movement is very low. They will not move their iris. You can see, you can easily, if you talk someone autism affected kid, you can go through their eyes. They will never look at you for a minute. Their iris is something, their eye vision is something different, where you can easily understand it. Autism data set is also available, because it is not available in public. But if we get the autism data set from Pondicherry, in the Pondicherry near Ashramam, we have one school, special school for autism kids, where a lot of researchers are going on in their thing. I think our department, Tamilchilli madam also did a lot of research work in under autism. You can also try to connect with Dr. Tamilchilli madam from IT department in your college, TCE, where you can get the autism data set. But a lot of data are available in the Kaggle, but real-time data set I'm speaking. Okay. Okay, any other query?
As of now, we have not received any
Okay.
queries.
Okay, thank you so much for listening patiently all my lectures and so many queries. Really, I'm happy to be a part of this Atal FTP. Thank you so much. Thank you all
Thank
participants.
you.
Yeah, no,
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, thank you, ma. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Your
Yeah.
expertise in AI-driven clinical diagnostics and surgical precision has provided us with deeper understanding of how machine learning and deep learning are transforming medical applications. We truly appreciate your time and valuable insights.
Thank you, ma. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So participants, just to remind you, assessment test will be conducted at end of the program. Minimum 80% attendance and 70% mark in the test are required to obtain the certificate. As we will also be sharing the proof session recording in YouTube for monitoring the attendance, we request you to maintain minimum of 80% attendance. Kindly provide your valuable feedback by either scanning the QR code or the link that is shared in the chat box. Your feedback is important to us, and attendance will be monitored based on responses received. Participants, sorry for the inconvenience. We'll give you access in a minute. Participants, can you please check if it's working now? Kindly check the feedback link now.
Working.
We'll also post this link in the group, so you'll be able to give your feedbacks. So that brings us to the end of day 3 of our FDP. Today's session provided a deep dive into evaluating AI models for clinical data analysis and the role of deep learning in enhancing surgical precision. A big thanks to Dr. Suganya Ramamurthy ma'am for her detailed and engaging session, and to all the participants for their interactive discussions. We look forward to another day filled with exciting topics and experts' insights tomorrow. Have a great evening. Thank you.